What's up guys, Zach here with my 6th tutorial for Visual C# with Visual Studio, and in today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to make Tic-Tac-Toe in Visual Studio. So as you can see, I have it all set up already, and the way I made the grid was I just used labels, and then I obviously did auto size equal to false down here, and then I made the tall ones 2 by 140 on each side, and then I made these the size in the size box 150 by 2 to be a little longer. And then to make these, I simply made other labels and named them O label 1 for this one, top left, and O label 1 here. Or X label 1, my bad. And then I just did that for each and every one of them. So here it's X label 2, and underneath is O label 2, and then so on and so forth until I got to X label 9, and then underneath is O label 9. And then underneath, I'm just going to show you when I start it, but I put buttons underneath, so when you click on the buttons, whoever turn it is, O or X will show up. So obviously they're not visible. Obviously I haven't programmed it to do anything. So, but if it was X's turn, like an X would appear in this top left corner. But I haven't programmed it to do that yet, and I'll show you how. And the way to make these invisible is simply go down here and make visible equal to false, because it's originally true, so obviously so you can see it when you start the program, but you want it to be false. Then in the code you can set it to true to make it visible whenever you want, basically. And then yeah, so that's how I did it. In an easy way, if you make the first two labels, you can just copy and paste O and X. The only problem, you just have to keep on renaming it as you go. So I already made events for each of the buttons, and what I'm going to do now is make a char to hold our player. So I'll just make the default equal to X for now. And then what I'm going to do is toggle player, which will be called every time somebody places a move, to keep on toggling the player back and forth. So we're going to do methods, which we haven't done yet, so it's pretty easy. And here it's just private void, then toggle player, and then obviously, so then if player equal to X, then you simply just player equal to O. Then else, it's obviously just going to be players equal to X. So yeah, that's pretty simple code. And then for this one, the first button click, obviously it's all going to be pretty much the same. So if player is equal to X, obviously you want the X label to show up once you press that button. So the way to do this is X label 1 dot show. And then that's pretty simple. And then else if the player equal to O, then obviously you want the O label 1 to show up. And then I'll show you how that works in the code here real quick. So obviously it shows up in X, and then I'm going to go in here and I call the toggle player to do whatever I told it to do inside the method. and then player. Okay, so that's pretty simple. Why doesn't it like that? What did I do wrong? That was weird. Oh well, anyway. So that works now. And then what I'm going to do now is a bit weird. I'm going to make a private void winner. It's kind of different if you had if you've never done this before, you know, returning. Oops, I'm sorry, this is wrong. This is supposed to be char. So basically what this is going to do is return if it finds a winner. So you always want it to return something. So in this case, I'm just going to have it return a T, so it won't do anything. So it'll be happy. And then basically what we're going to do is if x, I'm just going to do the first row. So x label dot show, or dot visible, my bad. Dot visible and x label 1 dot visible, excuse me, it's x label 2 visible and x label 3 dot visible. Oops. Yeah, and then so if it's visible, obviously we want it to return x, and you'll see why later, but I'm just gonna, to make it easier, you'll see. And then the next one, obviously x label 4, and then x label 5, x label 6 visible, and then x label 7, x label 8, and x label 9. And then, sorry if this is confusing, but in the code, x label 1 is right here. Oh, underneath it, you can't see it. But anyway, x label 1's there, and say if all three of them are shown in a row, then it'll return x as a win. And this is x label 4, 5, 6, x label 7, x label 8, x label 9. And now let's get the downward. Oops. And then, so this one we want, x label 1, of course, x label 4, and then x label 7 to get straight down, x label 2, x label 5, and x label 8 in the middle, and on the very edge, x label 3, x label 6, and then x label 9. Now finally we can do the diagonal. So x label 1 is good, and x label 5, and then of course x label 9. And then for the top right going down, we want x label 3, x label 5, and then x label 7. So now that should get the winners for all the x's. Now we always have to do this all again for the O labels, but thankfully it won't be too hard because it's exactly the same, only we just replace it with O. So Control C, all that. Then you just replace everything with O. So then O label 5, O label 8, then O label 3, O label 6, O label 9, and then O label 5, O label 9, O label 3, O label 5, O label 7, then we go up to here, O label, it's O label 4, O label 7, O label 8, O label 9, O 4, O 5, O label 6. Finally, this is our last one. O label 2, O label 3. Okay, so now that's finally good. And then in the code here, obviously it's fairly simply just your if winner, and then you have to put the parentheses to call it equal to x. I thought it'd be kind of cool if we did a message box dot show the winner is x, and then else if winner is equal to O, and message box dot show the winner is O. Okay. Alright, so now we have that already, and then I forgot one thing. These all need to be O's. So returning O, not X, would be bad. And so if I would have changed it, it would have obviously returned O. So O would never be able to win. But anyway, and then this is kind of a long process, but next what I want to do is make all of the labels to false so that it'll reset the board. So you know what I'm just going to start with label, or X label 1 show equal to false. Oops, it's visible. Equal to false. And then I'm just gonna Control C. Do this 9 times. And then just change the numbers, pretty easy. Get up until you get to 9, obviously. So then it'll reset all of the board, whatever is shown. And then next, the O labels 1 dot visible is equal to false. And now we just do the same thing again. Pretty simple. And then, oops. Five, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. And then just want to copy that and then put it into the O. And now this is all the code that we need. And now this is just the same as for everyone else, so we just copy this, this code, and we put it into, for button 2 click, and then button 3, button 4 click, 5 click, button 6, and then button 7, button 8, button 9. Okay. And then we have to change after button 1. Obviously, they need to be changed from label 1, label 2, label 2, and for button 3, label 3, 3, and then label 4, 4, 5, label 5, label 6, 6, label 8, 8, label 9, finally. Okay. So now, yeah, that's all the code we need. So now let's finally go and test it here real quick. Okay. So far, so good. And then, yeah, the winner is X, and it replaces everything. So that's good.